Okay, I'm Rylan Lizares from the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Technics Academy in Honolulu, Hawaii. And we're going to do a Kimura from the mount. So I'll start off in the mounted position here. Okay, and my first goal is to control my opponent's head. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my forearm to attack his neck so he starts to bait and defend my arm. Then I come under his head and establish my arm beneath his neck. My top arm now is going to help clear this side of his arm out. So I'm going to come in front of his bicep with my arm and use my elbow to push his tricep back. My left hand will now circle outside his head and my thumb will go into his gi. I'm going to start to pressure his neck so the bottom hand starts to defend my elbow to block the choke. This is going to give me an opportunity now to lift my knee up and stick it inside his bicep. Okay, in this little hole here. I'm going to use my hand and start to drive my weight towards his one side. When I establish my knee, I'll walk my foot up behind his shoulder and I cinch my hips behind his shoulder. Okay, block his elbow and his wrist, elbow to wrist here. I'll take a step forward and turn my hip for the Kimura position. Again, mount position. I bait the choke so he defends and I win the head. Okay. I'm going to use my arm to clear his arm off. Elbow back. Okay. Circle my hand out. Go thumb in the gi. Get him to defend my choke. My leg will come inside his bicep and move my way across. My leg will come high. My hips forward. Control his elbow and his wrist. Take a big step and then twist my hips for the submission. Let's take a different angle here. So when I try and get his head, if he's doing a good job, I should not be able to get my arm initially underneath his head. So I'm going to use my first arm here to attack his neck. Okay, what that's going to do is going to make him defend that wrist, and meanwhile my hand will come underneath his neck. Okay, use this side again, clear up the arm, and use my elbow to sweep his tricep back. My hand goes on the mat and circles out. Okay, and this is the setup. This is kind of the key to this position. When I put my thumb inside his gi, I pressure his neck. If Blake does, or the bottom man doesn't decide to defend when I go across his neck, he's gonna get choked here. Okay, so when my thumb goes in the gi here, he has to defend my elbow, or else he's at risk for a choke. My knee will come inside his bicep, use my hand to shift my weight. So my weight goes from my right side down to my left, walking my leg up, control his elbow and his wrist and get my hip deep in the pit of his arm. Take another step and twist.